Hello and welcome to another episode of Mystery Commander Theater 100. I'm Reptile and I'm joined by Synergistic.
Hi everybody.
And today we got another game at level 7 with members of level 7 community. So we have Colin piloting Marneus, Kevin piloting Etali, I am piloting Bilbo, and Nate is piloting Myrel. So let's get into the opening hands. Tell us about him, Synergistic.
Yeah, so Colin kept a hand with 2 lands, some fast mana, a couple interaction spells, and a late game drop. So I'm hoping to cast his commander turn 3 or turn 4, depending if he gets lucky with some artifacts. Kevin kept a hand with some dorks and some ways to round with the dock side. So really hoping to cast his commander early on on the game.
Nice, yeah. I ended up mulling down to 5, keeping just a Fire Shrieker and a Reality Chip. It was kind of rough, but trying to get Bilbo out. And Nate also had a mull down. Well, he mulled down to 6. He dipped in Elishnorn and has a land, a Mox Diamond. So really struggling on mana, but a lot of relevant stacks pieces. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a pretty interactive game overall in terms of just what people kept. And yeah, looking forward to it.
It's a pretty risky hand for Nate, to be honest. Just a 1-lander, but we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, as always, if you catch any mistakes, let us know what you think about the game. Retal and I will be commentating over this game. We haven't done this in a while, so hope you enjoyed to listen to our voice.
Yeah, it's been a bit. We try to use the audio on this one. This is still an ongoing thing of just improving the quality at the game store and of our in-person recordings. But so far, yeah, we've seen some improvement. Just let us know what you think. Right now, there's really not too much going on in the game. Mana Dork, land, pass.
Yeah, it looks like Nate was able to draw the land and play the Mentor's Fair for more value in the plane, so...
Mm-hmm. And a Takali Honor Guard coming out.
Yeah, turns to stack speed pretty good against, I guess, your commander and Etali.
Yeah, primarily Etali, I would say.
Yeah, prevents the TV effects, which is pretty good.
It's looking like a pretty high power game. Just land,
maybe
with one thing, Mox Opal. Not too bad.
Yeah. So, kind of risky play if you know you're playing against a stacks deck to keep the Mana Crypt in hand. If per se there's like Deafening Silence assist, you can only cast like one non-creature spell a turn, right? You always want to be able to like ramp out, but I understand keeping the Mana Crypt in hand. You want to bolt yourself, so kind of...
That's true, and you also prevent just more dockside. Maybe you wanted to stop Kevin and he couldn't do anything with the Crypt at the moment, so if you were to cast a dockside, it'd get him that much closer to Etali.
That's an also fair point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Kevin went for 2 Mana Dorks that we saw in his opening hand. Not too bad. Prevents the Delighted Halfling, prevents the Etali from being counter, which is actually a pretty good card from the newest Lord of the Rings set. He went for a turn 3 played. It's Quicksilver, makes artifacts and loots. Once artifacts gets played, well, we have another stacks piece by Nate, Fraction Revoker. I believe he names the
Lumberjack.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, really just trying to get this Etali behind. As of right now, it seems like Colin and I are, really just... I have Multi 5, I'm just developing my board, trying to get some value out of Bilbo with this Quicksmith. And it's a combat meta, so let's go and start swinging.
Yeah, notably, looks like Nate misses land drop, which is quite unfortunate for him, because we know he already had a Mox Diamond, so discarded 1 land. Colin takes his turn, likely plays a land. Hey, look at that.
Heat.
Which we knew from his opening hand. We'll go to fetch, something that's able to cast his commander, or potentially again set up for later turns.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, just being able to... That Mana Crypt can kind of take it out of nowhere. It's just one more land drop, and then you drop the Crypt, and Marneus is out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's always funny in high power games, because I usually don't ever go to combat in like cEDH games, so like, every point of life matters in these kind of games.
It does, yeah. Well, you've recently been going to combat more since you started playing Tymna.
That is true. I have gone to more combat now, which is weird. It looks like Colin went for I think Savannah, then casted a dam. Clear the board. First board wipe of the game, boys.
And here's a Dockside Extortionist coming out.
Yeah, 3 treasures, 1 from Nate, the Mox Diamond, and then Colin has a Mox Opal and a Mana Crypt.
Very true, very true. So I'm left without really too much else, but I think I can get Bilbo out and just look to attack next turn, get a treasure token, try to dig a little bit more. Quicksmith being gone does hurt, but I do have the reality chip, so we're looking to get as eke out as little card advantage as we can.
Yeah, and looting, it's not too bad.
No.
So it does it. It looks like probably Nate missed a land drop, unfortunately.
Just passes
you
turn.
hate to see that. Yeah. Not even good at that. I guess he could have gone to combat and attacked the Colin, but that doesn't really serve him the purpose.
I guess
serve
you
him
can block
anything.
Bilbo
Yeah, that's fair.
if you would like. Prevent me from getting that, but Marneus coming out. I want to call him Magnus for some reason.
Yeah, I think when Colin sent me his deck list, I think he called him like Marmar or something like that. So every time I see his name, it's like Marmar.
Marmar.
Nate going for in response to a fetch from Kevin, Archivist Ogma, really good card. In my opinion, it's a super underrated card. Doesn't get played enough. It's really great.
Likewise.
In
But
Alliance, draw a card.
Lotus coming out of nowhere. Here's Etali. Let's see what we get. So
Reveal the toys. Ooh.
first card
Ooh.
that I got. So Bolt, Conqueror's Flail, March of Otherworldly Light, and a Mana Rock. Actually pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Overall, this lets him really control the board off of just... I mean, these aren't huge spells, but these are very useful and valuable spells, so...
Goes for Mana Crypt on Colin's side with a March. Will bolt your Bilbo, so which really kind of sucks.
Pretty
for you,
unfortunate.
since you just placed it. Yeah.
At least when he leaves the battlefield, the ring will tempt me. So
Yeah.
I can now get that loot effect later.
Interesting mechanic, I will say. It's like such long text. I remember the first time I saw that effect, I was like, man, really, wotc, you want me to read this freaking essay?
Yeah, I kind of forced myself to learn it because I wanted to do something from the Lord of the Rings set, and I was just like, there's some cool stuff. It reminds me kind of the Initiative where it took a little bit to get off, and then people realized that just extra value, no matter what, is great.
Yeah, look at that. Another card from Lord of the Rings, Spiteful Banditry. Gets rid of the spirits, makes a treasure. It's really, I think it's also a pretty good card. I haven't seen it being played as much.
Yeah, it's almost like it can be a board wipe if you have a lot of mana, but when it persists around, it gives you treasures if you're pinging things down, giving people spirits.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess with the newest orc that got released from Lord of the Rings can, come with this card, it seems pretty good. If you have ways to if your opponents are drawing cards, just ping things down.
Agreed. Yeah, it looks like they were actually trying to punish card draw in this set.
Yeah.
But I go for Commander's Plate. Hoping to make Bilbo a little stronger, and we play out that reality chip. So now look at the top card of my library, look at it, be sad, and pass turn.
Heart of the cards, does Nate get a land? Does Nate get a land, boys?
Oh, Nate's not getting a land on recording.
It's so unfortunate too. Yeah, no land. Otherwise he would have played that thing faster than Speed of Light. So if you're Nate, places Tony Silence, which if you see his battlefield, there is a Mock Salmon, so he's putting himself behind because for the table. What a hero! What a Chad!
Very true.
MVP.
That and it's also really unfortunate that he discarded the planes instead, because the Inventor's Fair. Now he only has colorless mana at this point, so it's pretty tough.
Yeah, and the reason he's doing this is to shut down the Etali player. So he's trying to shut down Kevin from equipping the Conqueror's Flow, using the mana treasures from the dock side, or the talisman. So it's heads up plays. He really puts him behind who's already really behind. So he's in a pretty bad position, unfortunately. But doing it for the table.
Just fishing for lands.
Yeah, trying to buy himself the grace to the table.
Marneus is coming out to swing. Let's see where he goes. I believe it's at me.
Looks like, yeah, you take that damage.
Yes. So here, at least right now, Kevin has an Etali that he can start to pressure with.
Yeah. 7/7 with trample is nothing to to ignore.
No, it's tough. Like you gotta stomach those hits, and you can only really take 3 unblocked before you die. So.
Yeah. It's a nice number, right? Those divided by things that are numbers that are divided by 7 or 21. Sorry, makes the games that much interesting, right? Because you can only, if it was if it was 6, then you have 4 turns, right?
Yeah, it really reduces the clock behind it.
Yeah. Goes at Nate. just to put him down since he's the one stopping essentially Kevin from popping off.
And
Goes for the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah.
That seemed pretty good.
I always appreciate a wheel. Yeah, no, I always appreciate when someone plays a wheel, right? Giving 7 new cards, especially if you're going after the person that plays the wheel. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll get rid of that Fire Shrieker and whatever other bullshit I ended up drawing. I'll take a fresh new 7. It's almost like I didn't roll a 5.
Nate probably got like a land, hopefully, out of this too. So
We'll
he
see.
might be back in the game.
I'm trying to get back in.
He's 7 cards down.
Got
7 cards deeper. Sorry.
There
Playing
has
your
to
Bilbo
be.
again.
Playing Bilbo, Fairy Mastermind gets flashed in. Cannot attack with Bilbo and get that extra card this turn, and unfortunately, just one off of Equipping Commander's Plate should be pretty helpful against Swords to Plowshare and things like that.
Well, the Stony Silence will prevent you from equipping.
Very true, yeah, okay, that's probably why it was like, this thing is just here to feed Dockside at this point, who cares?
Oh, miss a land drop and place a Matterbolt.
It's mana, but you can't use it.
You hate to see that. You hate to see that. So yeah, as the players kind of keep playing, let us know what you actually think about, our games at level 7. It's not our usual setup, but I think it's coming along well. We're able to play with different players at the store, feature them. I think Kevin's actually he's won the most tournaments, or cedh tournaments, which is actually really impressive.
I think that's true, yeah, about 9 times. Colin has been featured on this channel before.
Yep.
And just a returning figure. Always like to see him.
Yeah, good guy. I know we showcase some of his glitch art on some of our videos, so go check him out if you haven't. Back to the game.
From an outside perspective, how would you read the table, not knowing cards in hand?
I think Kevin's extremely ahead. Colin's doing a lot of setup, which for an Esper deck is kind of scary, because they can, they have the ability to control the board pretty easily on the stack and on the battlefield. Unfortunately, Nate's pretty behind, but he's still impacting the board quite a bit. And I don't know, I have like a mixed feelings about his decks, because they just in my perspective, they just draw cards and discard cards, and then they just win. So that's how they play.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, you just kind of filter through and draw cards and then gain value out of drawing the cards.
Yeah. So a couple impactful cards happening this kind of turn rotation. Colin went for a Spellseeker, got a Cyclonic Rift. Kevin went for a Mirror Box artifact, which is pretty good for his kind of deck. Kind of scary. So it looks like Colin's setting up for like a Cyclonic Rift Overload to kind of bounce the whole board.
Yeah, that's
what it's looking
like at the moment.
I will say though, the saving grace for Nate looks like the Archivist Dogma. The card's drawing him quite a bit of cards already and getting him some life.
True, putting him out of range of... Well, Etali will still kill you, but in terms of just your life tool and also taking damage from Marneus, pretty helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And just drawing cards because he needs them. Because he's missing land drops, so I think Archivist is helping him quite a bit.
It always sucks to miss land drops in decks like Mono White, where it really is... you're really basing a lot of your stuff on lands because you're running artifact hate, creature hate, stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess, one of the comments that was done in the game was like, would you run Stony Silence? Would you run a lot of mana rocks in a Stony Silence deck? It's kind of risky.
At least when it comes to... Because I've built some like that, it's particularly Adeline. It's more so just the ones that get you to those stacks pieces earlier. Like Mana Vault I'll run if I'm trying to hit something. Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, Chromox, but really nothing. None of the signets or anything like that.
Sure. So, turns out Bilbo's a rogue, and you're able to cast your rogue sorceries and target Colin with it, and cast an gosh, what was the name of that card?
Seagate Restoration.
Seagate, thank you. Seagate Restoration for free. With 7 cards in hand.
I was hoping to get a Peer into the Abyss, but did not see it in Colin's deck, so I just took the next best big burst of card draw, and took that. So I think that actually really helped me get back into this game, because the wheel, and then the additional 7 cards that I drew really just put me ahead and gave me a lot of interaction.
Sure. So it looks like Nate got a land finally, and now it looks like Colin is just casting the Cyclonic Rift on the Stony Silence, which
Not
is
suspicious.
Interesting.
Not suspicious.
Yeah, not suspicious at all. Nate goes for the Reprieve, also a really good card. Bounces Cyclonic Rift to Colin's hand, and we'll draw him a card. Really good card.
Yeah, pretty good overall. Colin does also draw a card through the Fairy Mastermind, showing its power.
Yeah, also
here.
a really good card. Yeah.
A lot of these passive card draw creatures, like the Archivist and the Fairy Mastermind, have just been putting in more and more work.
And that's the reason that Orc got printed.
It seems like,
yeah, Orcish Bowmaster is the Orc we're referring to. Colin goes for a Green Monolith, so that's probably showing why he wants the Stony Silence off the battlefield. Makes a lot of sense.
Grim Monolith and the overloaded Cyclonic Rift at this point really wouldn't be able to be cast because he didn't have enough mana at the time. So
yeah. Ooh. He goes for it again. If it didn't work the first time, let's try it again. But you counter with an offer you cannot refuse. Gives him treasures that he cannot use.
He does get a
trigger his
and
commander.
card.
Yeah, which, I guess it loots itself. I would want to keep the Cyclonic Rift, especially if you tutor for it and have been trying to freaking bounce the Stony Silence.
100%. But I'm also with Nate in the sense of, like, these artifacts need to be stopped, and I can't.
Yeah.
I almost want this Stony Silence, even though it stops my commander's plate and my reality chip.
Yeah. So Colin goes to combat and goes at you. It makes sense since you kind of shut him down, prevent him from stopping.
Reality chip's gone.
Trigger Spackle Banditry.
Trigger Treasure. Another reason why I didn't want that to go off.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you would, you'll be able to flip Etali, right? You don't want Etali to become that big monster on the other side. Trample Infect.
Very true. At that point, I think I'd die.
You would die, yeah.
So, and then here's another very good, not card draw engine, but just lets you churn through your deck, the Heartfelt of Horn. And given the wheel that we just had, I did want to force a negation. And I'm just really trying to stop you from gaining card advantage and being stuck underneath the Stony Silence as much as possible.
Yeah, pretty funny you were able to counter it faster than Kevin was able to turn the card around.
And this resulted in a lot of damage. 2 counter spells just got me swung at hard.
Yeah, bro, you're at 14. Good God.
Ancient Tomb as well, yeah. It's been a...
Yeah. You're taking quite a bit of damage, which is unfortunate. Oh, there's your own Seagate Restoration. Not flipped.
Nope.
Shame.
Yeah, on the Seagate Restoration side, not the Seagate Reborn. But you guys know what it is.
Yeah.
We don't have to...
Call him out in the comments.
Niv Mizzet Perun. Pretty hard to cast, but can be countered. And at this point, really, if anyone tries to... I feel like at this point, given how the Stony Silence wanted to be removed, there's going to be a couple of instants and sorceries going off. So...
Well, it's funny to see the Mizzet Perun next to a Curiosity.
Yeah, that's not attached to
creature.
Him. I regretted that. I did not have Niv Mizzet when I put the Curiosity on Bilbo, and it was like one of my next 2 draws, and I'm like, oh no, dude. We could have had it. But
yeah. So Nick goes for the Soul Petition, targeting his own Stony Silence. He's doing his Stony Silence. He wants that thing out of there. It's kind of risky. Just based on, Nate, Colin was trying to get rid of that thing for 2 turns, and then Kevin has a bunch of artifacts, so kind of risky, but I can see Nate wants to also play the game. Oh, that will be why.
Okay. Stacks. Okay. We're going through and playing some stacks. So Trinisphere comes out, does make all of this pretty difficult to get Pi.
Well, Nate woke up that morning saying, you know what? If I don't get to play the game, nobody gets to play the game.
Yeah. So you're gonna fabricate. Trigger Niv Mizzet, some more card draw. It feels good. And at this point, I'm just pinging off creatures that might hit me in the air or do something to me.
Yeah, pretty noticeable that you have no maximum hand size too, because of the Seagate Restoration. I think that's what the text it says. All those cards will stay in your hand. Now it's just value in your hand, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Again,
so.
Archivist of Ogma trigger again, so Nate gain a life, draw a card, which is pretty good. You got rid of the Fairy Mastermind, so no more passive card draw from Colin.
And then we'll start to see, looks like Colin, he did want the Stony Silence gone, so.
Well, that's why. Isochron Scepter.
Notably,
Will this
each cast of the Isochron Scepter through Dramatic Reversal would need to go through the Trinisphere. 3 mana.
So that is true. And it also triggers if missed it, so it's you're playing with fire, Colin. But I'm sure you might have an answer, right? You wouldn't just combo off if you don't have anything.
True. And also, before this, when I attacked with Bilbo, if you just saw the treasure reappear, I did not just plot armor my way through it. Forgot when I attacked Nate. Yeah, I did get a treasure there, so I am able to go past the Trinisphere cost. Take 2 with the Ancient Tomb. And Fierce Guard, I mean, I did see that there were things preventing this Isochron Scepter from going off. And I was just afraid that, because I believe he may still have enough to get infinite mana through the Isochron Scepter, even with paying the 3.
Oh yeah, he has a green monolith and a mana bolt.
Yeah,
so 100%.
And still be able to generate the mana necessary. So, and we see it mana. Here. Dramatic Reversal was in there.
Yeah, it's cool to play with high power cEDH players because it's not like our casual knights. They know they don't combo off unless they have a win here. They're going for it.
True. Yeah, here it seemed like Colin was just trying to get his opening in and really get the Isochron Scepter off, but he could work underneath the stacks. Nimizit would have been a terror for him because he would have had to stop eventually with the mana that he created, and then hope to find something to bounce the Nimizit or do something about it. But
yeah, activate his commander the times that he can, so he can draw cards off it. So he's just more setting up on Colin's side, just playing a bunch of those artifacts. So again, I can see why he wanted that Sony Silence gone. Because, yeah. Looks like half his hands, artifacts.
Crazy.
Apparently. And supposed to be playing tokens.
That's probably treasures that he makes.
Yeah, be a Smothering Tide or whatever.
Smothering Tide's amazing with this, but it does look like Colin, at this point, doesn't really have a way to come back and win from here, but still not in a terrible position. All these mana rocks are down. Did get some juice out of Marneus. I'm certain that if there's probably the Stony Silence would come down again next turn. Actually, unless Nate draws another land, I don't believe it can.
Doesn't Soul Partitioner exile it, or does it bounce it?
It exiles it, and then it you can cast it for 2 more than what it is.
Oh.
So at this point in time, it looks like Nate only has 3 mana sources.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So
if I was Nate, I wouldn't cast it. Or maybe he would. I don't know. I wouldn't be super scared of Colin right now. Because you stop his win attempt.
Very true. I think I'd also be scared of the Teamer Sabretooth in Kevin's deck. Because now the Dockside loops will just kill you.
Yeah, sure. That's a good point. So Colin goes to combat, you block with the miss it, is dead. Did a lot of job. It did its job.
It did its job for now, but I'm gonna need it later. I need to find a way to get this Curiosity out of the way. I think this is my only way to win this game because I'm just too low to where I'm gonna get pressured.
Yeah, I mean, either Colin and Kevin can just kind of work together to kill you, just life totals. Then Nate's like on the side too.
So, equipped in Conqueror's Flail, no Stony Silence, so Grand Abolisher in non-white. Actually considering it for Simic.
Oh yeah?
It doesn't sound
terrible.
I'm thinking about that, yeah. Just decks that only have access to that. I don't know, Tidal Barracuda's a thing, but alright, I'm getting a little lost in Kinnan. So right now, we're gonna have Kevin attack with Etali, really just putting the pressure on Trinisphere. Even if Etali were to come back down, each spell wouldn't still need to be cast for 3. So Trinisphere really putting in work. Like a lot of these stacks pieces, it doesn't look like Nate's doing too much, but he's really elongating the game and giving himself a window to come back.
Yeah, he's definitely impacting how the game's being played. Like even though he's missed land drops, and we can kind of meme on that, he definitely had a pretty good impact on the game, a pretty large impact. And again, there's the Archivist of Akhmat just drawing cards.
Drawing cards. No land, not drawing lands. 37
life. Yeah.
And I'm at a nice, hefty 9 life. Sounds great.
I'd be very scared if I were you.
I am scared. I'm thinking I need to win this. Like, I need to find a way to win, and that Niv-Mizzet being gone does hurt, because as you see, I had the Otawara in my hand, and I was looking to bounce the Otawara and then cast it on the Niv-Mizzet, but since he's gone...
That's crazy. Yeah, so you're trying to see if you can go to combat. So one of the things, one of the ability that the Ring Bearer gives Skulk, right? So you can be blocked with the highest power.
Yes, and right now, Dockside is usually a 1-2, but because of Conqueror's Flail, it is a 2... I believe it's a 2-3 right now, so I am able to Skulk past it, get my 2 card draws, 1 loot, 1 actual from Curiosity, and my treasure. And at this point, in that whole sequence I drew my other important rogue tribal sorcery.
The Soul Ring.
The Soul Ring, yeah. This is the only part I remember about these games, at least like before we looked back. So now I'm just remembering, like, I actually got to use these. Quick lore hint, these were in the Anawan decks, one of the very first ones, and these were some of the key cards in that one as well, just because it was Rogue Tribal. But Notorious Throng, get a 1/1 Black Fairy Rogue, no one cares about that, you get an extra turn, so it's pretty nice. And at this point, really buying myself time. 7 life. I'm starting to look pretty scary, so I know I'm going to get taken out.
Yeah, I mean, you were at 9, right? And you had attack with Bilbo, so if Kevin had swung at you, you'd be dead.
Yes, I couldn't have used the Ancient Tomb to really get myself back into this. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You always give me crap for targeting you, but this is why, folks. I live this.
Because you see me at just like 5 life and I'm trying to win. You're like, these Timna strikes should have gone at you, but Trinisphere's still on the battlefield. And look at that grip. Thank you, Niv-Mizzet.
Jeez. Oh. Yeah. Discard some random card, not relevant. The card you more than likely gamble for will stay in your hand because the odds are in your favor.
Very true, very true. And here, I think I just tutored for a bounce spell, because I just used Otawara. And at this point, yeah, I ended up going for the Alchemist's Retrieval, returning the Trinisphere to the hand. And now, I did open up free counter magic from Colin, but given how he was attempting to go for the win next turn, I believe he would have used it to protect his win if he was going to. So that was kind of the green light. I guess I need to watch out for a Pyroblast from Kevin, and Nate is tapped out. So this seems like the most opportune time to go for it. Having a World Breach, not running any of the Lion's Eye, Diamond, or Brain Freeze combos with Thassa's Oracle. This is more just a value breach, and I think in high power it's really showing what it can do. Like, I had to discard a lot, board wipes, wheel effects, so really the graveyard gets fueled either way.
Yeah, it's like, I think how the way Wizards intended this card to be played, a value play, not okay with the game, which,
Underworld Reach. I'm surprised it's still in Modern at the time of this.
Is it?
It is, yes, it's Modern legal.
Oh, shit.
It has its own decks, just combo decks like this.
Sure. So you're going for Underworld Breach, so looks like you're gonna escape the gamble here.
Yes.
So you can tutor more cards. And you do have, like you said, because due to the board wipes and the wheel, your graveyard is pretty hefty. So it allows you to do this. Again, the Archivist of Pokemon triggering again, getting some more life.
True.
It's going to be at 40 life at the end of this.
And the draw discard from Bilbo as well.
That's true. Yeah, good synergy.
Yeah, overall pretty good. I like Bilbo himself. That was what I tutored for. Out of all the cards, the Dockside got ripped out. So I'm like, okay, all right. Well, we can escape it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a little more expensive. Well, it just gets rid of cards in your graveyard, which I don't know if it matters too much. So you're going for the Dockside to make a bunch of treasures. Just doing a quick count of the board. We see like 11, somewhere between 10 to 12 cards.
Yeah, excluding the treasures as well. The treasures, you kind of have to assume they're going to be popped, especially since I'm trying to go for the win here. So
so Kevin pops his treasures. I think he makes 3 red.
I believe I get 4 from Kevin. 4. Or, oh, those are way more from Colin. Those are so many.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 12, 11.
11.
11.
Yep. There it
Yeah,
is.
there we go.
All right. Watch on LAM with you guys.
We can do math. So, yeah, just kind of walk us through what you're going through right now, and what's going through your mind.
So at this point, it really is just get the Niv Mizzet out through Underworld Breach, exile the 3 cards, and at this point I'd still have the Alchemist Retrieval, which I tutored for to bounce the Trinisphere, and I can use that to bounce my Curiosity and put it to my hand and then equip it to Niv Mizzet. And then at that point, the loop can begin. I just need another instant or sorcery, but you saw my hand, so I definitely have one.
I'm sure. I think you'll still have treasures left over too.
I believe so, and I take a little safety precaution. I'm pretty sure the win would have been stopped here, but I'm just in case someone was holding out. So I'm going through the line. Curiosity. Thankfully, I didn't bounce Bilbo on accident, thinking that it would return to my hand and this goes to the grave.
Makes it a little that much harder to cast.
Yeah.
Your grave is getting a little emptier now.
It is, and I also have Fierce Guardianship still on my grave, which I can just cast repeatedly to stop combos, but I do not have 2. I believe I have 3, including the Fierce Guardianship. So I cast a Strike at Rich, basically just filtering out a card, still getting my treasure, doing 1 damage, but now this allows me to actually play the Fierce Guardianship in my graveyard if I need to protect it. And
nice.
Curiosity in my hand. Now it's just attach it to Niv Mizzet, and it seems like everyone here knows the writing on the wall. Just like you said, we're all cEDH players. We've seen this one. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty, I don't know. I guess I do see this deck, this combo played in cEDH not as often by itself, because it's a lot of mana, and it's very restrictive mana too. It's 3 red, 3 blue to play.
It's very tough, and unless you can utilize Curiosity, it's hard to fit in without having to be a dead card.
Yeah.
You really have to be attacking, or if you're playing Vile Smash or something like that. But
yeah, so congratulations on your win. I think it was well played.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was overall pretty fun. I feel like Bilbo did come into effect a good amount, turning on those tribal sorceries, and letting me loot and discard. Pretty, I don't think I would play him in a cEDH setting, but for a high power setting, decent card advantage, mana advantage.
Yeah, it looks like it was a kind of fun deck to play. Like you said, it gives you card selection when you're looting. Helps you, find the cards you're looking for. I think, the rogue spells definitely helped, being able to take an extra turn for not as expensive cost, and also being able to look through another player's deck and search cEDH Restoration, or I know you were looking for Peering to the Abyss, but it's still pretty good cards for free.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, those cards are amazing. It's always a blast when I get to play them. But from the outsider's perspective, when you were watching it, I know you were watching while we were recording. How did you like the game?
Yeah, it's always fun to watch these kind of games too. They're very different, right? They're not like the outcome of the game would have been something different. Like it's not very descriptive like some cEDH games can be. It's very different, because you go to combat a lot and you can kill players, and the life totals do end up mattering quite a bit. Like we saw you were at 5 health by the end of the game, so I think it was pretty cool. It was kind of unfortunate to see Nate being stuck on lands, but I think he still had a very impactful game by slowing both Colin and Kevin down at different parts of the game. I think it was cool to see Etali not be food chain and just kind of have those kind of combos and do the usual beatdown, and then seeing Colin almost go for the win. I thought that was kind of cool with the dramatic reversal.
Yeah, I feel like all of us, if one piece was played over another, could have won at that point in the game. Like the Stony Silence was up before the Niv Mizzet, or if he was able to get the dramatic reversal off underneath the Stony Silence and Niv Mizzet, I think Colin would have won. Had the ETB effects and the Stony Silence not been restricting Kevin as much, I think he also would have won, given how fast he was going. And then Nate just needed lands to start getting the beatdowns and create an army. And unfortunately, he didn't get there. I know, I feel lucky. I feel lucky on this one.
Yeah. Good game. I think you actually have the highest win rate when it comes to high power games. So good job. You found your home.
Oh,
no more CDH for you.
No more CDH. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I guess the games I have won have been Cloudstone Curio, Dockside, and Miz of Curiosity. But
yeah, we tell people don't use 2-card combos. Here comes Reptile.
It's more than 2.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, that one was 2, actually. Now I think about it.
It requires you casting a spell after playing those 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, who's being technical or anything? Cool. Let's just kind of get ready to wrap this up. Any last thoughts on the game?
No. Thank you to Level 7 for letting us record and kind of just hosting us there. And thank you to Kevin and Colin, as Nate as well. Really everybody for helping make this go through. It's a ton of fun being able to play these games and just come up with different decks. So.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're taking some time out of the day to come play with us. And like we mentioned, Colin's a glitch artist. You might have seen some of his art on our channel. Go check him out. I think it's the coolest shit ever. But that's just me. I think it's very neat the way that just kind of glitches our logo. Like we said, we've been playing at level 7 games. We've partnered up with them. We're hoping to do a lot of different content with them. They're a great store in Denver, Colorado. If you ever come here, I would recommend them to go check them out. They do a lot of cedh and EDH, and just a great store overall. In addition to our partnership with Level 7, we've also partnered up with the Chaos Tournaments. There's cedh Run Tournament that runs a tournament once a month. We mentioned Nate's participated in a bunch of them. He says they're great and they're well operated, which is pretty good for those kind of tournaments because you don't in its spell table setting you want to be able to trust the tournament you're going to. You don't want to just hand money and just something you run like crap. So I think it's actually one of the best cedh tournaments that are out there.
Yeah, recently they actually just had I think a tournament with over 75 entrants, something like that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was actually a pretty big one. A lot of big hitters in the cedh community also enter that tournament. So yeah, Chaos Tournaments, definitely would recommend them. I think I'm gonna end up joining Nate in one of these down the line, playing Kinnan. So.
Also, folks, and I know we didn't get a chance to do this at the beginning of the game, but if you're still watching, point out any mistakes you might have seen. We know we want to improve our content, make this a better viewing experience for everybody. We're still learning as we go, so any and all comments are welcome. I will engage with you in the comments. But with that, I think we've talked enough. Let's just say our usual. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and stay basic.
Yep.